host, Greg Rempe.
Welcome back. This is the Barbecue Central Show. Well delayed and well aired. This portion of the show brought to you by the good folks over at the Barbecue Guru, makers of automatic temperature control devices, not to mention a host of other products that make your barbecue and grilling life easier. Two ways to find them online at thebbqguru.com. You can also call them toll-free at 800-288-GURU. All right, so let's get into this special roundtable show. This is the first time I've actually put one that is dealing with the competition itself. The others have been more about the meats, the various ways to prep them, cook them, present them. And tonight we are addressing this coming weekend's event, which is considered to be the event during the competition cooking year, the Jack Daniel's World Championship Barbecue Cook-Off. And we'll be getting two perspectives tonight. One is from a team who has already won it. The other are looking to, and they're looking to win again, by the way. The other viewpoint is from a team that has been down there before. They have the experience, but they haven't taken that ultimate walk across the stage yet. And I'm sure if any of you are interested in calling in to mark out or ask these guys the questions, they'll be more than happy to host you with your questions. They both will be competing this weekend in Lynchburg, Tennessee. It's Chris Hart from IQue, 2010 Empire State Barbecue Champ, and the reigning champ of the Jack Daniel's and the current KCBS Team of the Year, Rod Gray from Pellet Envy. We race over to the hotline to welcome them in. Guys, appreciate you putting up with the technical difficulties. Welcome here to the show, and I'm sure there's a bunch of different ways we could actually attack this subject matter tonight. But let's go ahead and start like we do every round table. We'll go around the room and see what everybody's cooking on, and we'll start with Chris Hart from IQue.
I plan on bringing my Midnight Blue Jambo pit down to the Jack this year, cooking on that and seeing how that does.
Is that the only pit you'll be taking down, Chris?
Just that, yeah. Maybe a Weber kettle to cook my dinner on, but other than that, that's what I'm going to cook my competition meats on my Jambo.
And Rod, what will you be cooking with this weekend?
I'm planning to cook all four categories on easy grills, but I will have the Jambo mounted on the back of the trailer just in case.
You like your chances with the Easy Grill?
I love my chances with the Easy Grill. If you consider my last 3 or 4 finishes of the Jack, I think my chances are equally as well on Easy Grills.
I think that's a great idea, Rod.
Chris Hart encouraging Rod Gray to break out the Easy Grills for competition. Let's go ahead and get all philosophical for a minute right up front. In your own opinion, guys, we'll start with Rod. What makes the Jack Daniel's event so special in your estimation?
Nothing.
Nothing, not at all.
Oh, no. You know, I mean, I'm treading lightly here because I'm going to the Jack, and I love those people. And Chris, you know, we've got the Jack Daniel's World Champion on the line with us, and so I have to be pretty careful. But the Jack Daniel's is a fabulous marketing effort on the part of Brown Foreman. That is a contest, but it's really designed to promote Jack Daniel's all over the country. And if you accept it for that, it's awesome. I think the thing that makes it so prestigious is the fact that on the weekend of the Jack, there are a lot of the best teams in the country sitting at home, uninvited to the event. And that's what makes it prestigious, is its exclusivity.
Chris, what are your thoughts about the Jack?
You know, I think if you kind of drew up the perfect barbecue contest, that spot in Lynchburg, Tennessee is just idyllic as to what you would think of a barbecue contest. It's just a perfect spot. You know, I'm not a big fan of the parking lot. I love the Royal, but you know, it's a big, huge parking lot, and the Jack is right down at the distillery. And it just has just something special about it. Going up on, you know, Barbecue Hill. I don't know if you've been up there, Greg, but I know Rod has, and a lot of the people listening probably have. And sitting up there and watching the kind of sunset and having a glass of Jack with all those barbecue people there, it's pretty special. And it's something that you don't usually get at a contest. That's one of the things that's great about it for me.
Chris Hart from IQue. Go ahead, Ron. Yeah.
Can we start the show over because I like Chris's answer better than mine? No. I want to add something. It is a fabulous experience, and Chris is dead on when he says the setting for that event is phenomenal. I agree with everything he said there.
Chris Hart from IQue, reigning Jack Daniels champion, and Rod Gray from Pellet Envy joining us here on the Barbecue Central show. You know, I had Mike Davis of Lotta Bowl Barbecue and Don Will of Smokers Wild on the show last week. I asked them if they would trade away their wins at the American Royal if that meant they could go win the Jack, and they both said no. They both felt that the American Royal is the only event that really allows all of the best teams to gather in one place to kind of get it on, if you will. And the Jack has its drawing process where every year some of the best teams, as Rod said, are kind of sitting on the sideline. And, of course, other teams have said without a doubt that, yes, they would actually trade their American Royal wins away for the Jack win. I know this question's a little loaded for Chris for obvious reasons, so we'll start with Rod. But if you had to choose between winning the Jack or winning the American Royal Invitational, which one would you choose and why?
Well, it's a loaded question for me too, Greg, because I serve as a volunteer on the American Royal Competition Committee. So I want to qualify my answer. But in complete honesty, I would love to win the Royal Invitational because anybody who wins a qualifying contest is invited and can be there. So we're all there if we want to be. However, because of Brown-Forman's marketing effort, it is deemed so much more prestigious to win the Jack Daniels that yeah, I'd love to win that event.
Chris, if you didn't win the Jack last year, kind of looking at it as objectively as possible, which one would you rather choose to win and why?
I'd like to win them both.
Yes, of course everybody would.
You know, the thing for me is that I've been going to the Jack. This will be my 9th year at the Jack. And it's been what I've had my mind on. It's been my kind of, when I start a season for the last few years, you know, last 5 or 8 years now, when I start a season, often my goal has been to get to the Jack and to win the Jack. And so that's really been my thing is going to the Jack Daniels and really been focused on that. So that's been my ultimate contest for sure. The Royal's awesome, and to win that is an amazing experience as well.
Chris Hart and Rod Gray joining me here on the show. There's always been a relationship with Jack Daniels or Brown-Forman, however you want to refer to it as, and the KCBS. However, it's not an event that is sanctioned by Kansas City Barbecue Society. Is the partnership fine as it sits, or would either of you like to see something else more formal come out of it down the road, whatever that might be? And we'll start with Chris.
I'm not sure. You're asking if I think the relationship between KCBS and the Jack is a good idea?
Yeah, or would you like to see it even more, perhaps to the point where it might become a sanctioned event versus something that stands alone by itself?
You know, I don't know if it can be officially sanctioned because of the invitational aspect of it. I know I'd like to see KCBS reps there. I know I'd like to see KCBS rules there. I'd hate to see them go the other direction, away from that. I'd like anything that makes it more predictable and more like the contest that we cook all summer. I'm all for that. So I don't know if it needs to get more formal than it already is. I would hate to see it go in the other direction and the Jack move away from KCBS and try to do their own rules or something like that. I would be really disappointed to hear that. I think what's going on right now is pretty good. What
about you, Rod? Fine as is, or would you like to see, as Chris said, some more type of consistency in the judging?
How long do we have?
As long as you want, baby.
I thought the original question was related to the association between KCBS and the Jack.
Yeah,
I don't think they can get any tighter, short of absolutely following all of KCBS's rules. And you know that's what makes the Jack 2 things. One's an invitational, so it can never be a sanctioned event,
right? Because
sanctioned events have to be open to everyone,
right?
But 2. You know, Chris has gone so many years, and I think I'm a couple years behind him. I think this will be my 8th year or 7th year. I've lost track. But they have their own rules. We have to turn in white meat and dark meat. We have to put 7 pieces in the box. I mean, there are a few things we have to do that aren't KCBS rules. And I think that's the hand that Jack Daniels wants to keep, you know, on the rules of the contest. There are just a few things different than a sanctioned event. They have evolved over the years. Chris, you'll remember when we used to be able to cook whole hog as one of the 4 categories and toss out something else. And so they've tightened up some, but still kept their own spin on what goes on down there. And it's the Jack. It is what it is, and I'm fine with it.
Is it safe to say, though, that perhaps even KCBS is the one that maybe makes out better than Jack Daniels does, vice versa, making out with KCBS as far as exposure and brand marketing and all that stuff, Rod?
I don't think so. KCBS keeps a pretty low profile at that event, in my opinion. There's a lot of celebrity judges who come down who may have never judged an event, and I know KCBS puts on a class for them on Friday, midday or so, and I know that KCBS administers their rules and actually scores the contest. But maybe I'm off base here, but I feel like KCBS keeps a lower profile at that event than probably any other event in the country.
Chris, you agree with Rod on that take?
Yeah, I think so. It's definitely Jack at the forefront. The Jack is at the forefront there, the Jack Daniels brand. You definitely don't see too much KCBS other than, knowing the reps and knowing some of the folks from the KCBS corporate office and seeing their faces there, taking your turn-in dishes and whatnot. It's all Jack Daniels branding.
All right, so getting a little bit more into the event as we lead up to it, when you guys plan on loading in? We'll start with Chris again.
We're all jumping into an RV. Last year we went down there and we just had a couple people on my team. It was me and my brother and my teammate John Delfa. And for some reason, we have a lot more enthusiasm about going to the Jack this year. And I got a crew of about 7 people going down. We're all jumping into an RV in Boston on Wednesday morning, and we're hauling down there and hoping to get there sometime on Thursday.
Are you worried at all about the toll that the trip takes? I mean, every year that goes by, nobody's getting any younger. Is that ever any concern that at some point the trip is going to be too much of a hike and it will affect how you perform down there?
No, that's not really too much of a concern. Last year I drove down by myself. I did an 18-hour ride solo down there. I had a lot of time to think about what the heck I was going to do, I guess. So that was helpful, I guess. But not too worried about it. I'll get down there on Thursday, get a good night's sleep on Thursday, hopefully, and be fresh and ready to go Friday morning.
What about you, Rod? When you guys plan on loading in?
Well, right now I'm trying to figure out how to tell Sherry she has to stay home. Chris drove home down by himself, and it seemed to work out last year. I guess I got to go on my own. We'll leave
Just fly Sherry out.
Yeah, We'll leave Wednesday, and we'll get down there Wednesday evening, and we may or may not load in the trailer Wednesday night. We may wait till Thursday morning. I just hope Chris brings a boat this year with him, though. I think he had a little water last year, if I remember.
Yeah, just a little bit.
Rod Gray and Chris Hart joining us here on the show talking about the Jack Daniels, which will be taking place next week. You have both obviously been down to the Jack before, and we'll start with Rod here on this question. Do you have a game plan now that you have strictly set up for this particular event and competition, or is it the same thing that you work just like any other event you would on any other given weekend?
Well, for me, it's the same, Greg. I feel like, people, I get this question a lot, only in a more generic form, and that is, do I cook the same everywhere in the country? And the answer is I absolutely do. And so when I go to the Jack, I feel like, dance with the one that brung you. So I pretty much don't change a thing. It hasn't worked worth a darn the last 4 years, so they're going to get some more of that this year.
What about you, Chris? You working the same plan that you would always work at a competition, or are you changing it up a little bit for this particular event?
I wish I could be as consistent as Rod, but I actually am unable to cook the same way at every contest. It's slightly different every time for me. And
now hold on a second. What does that mean exactly?
I use different rubs. I use different sauces. I cook at different periods of times. I kind of go by the seat of my pants a little bit, and sometimes it works out, and sometimes I get killed, and just the way it goes. That's just the way it works for me. And we'll do some different things. I'm not going to try to do exactly what I did the last time I was there. I'm going to try to do something a little bit different. I have some special pork shoulders that I procured recently, and I'm going to do a trial run on them this weekend, and hopefully they come out good, and I'm going to give those a try at the Jack.
All right, we're talking with Chris Hart and Rod Gray. We're going to take our first break here. Let me kind of regroup again here over the next 4 minutes so I can set up for a second hour as well, since I was pulling my hair out for this last 10 or 15 minutes before we got you guys on. So hang back, open a beer, and relax. I will get to you guys here in just a few minutes. And we will pick up the Jack Daniels conversation. Again, we're talking with Rod Gray of Pellet Envy and reigning champion of the Jack Daniels, Chris Hart from IQue. PelletEnvy.com is the website. The letter I, Q, Q-U-E, and barbecue, B-A-R-B-E-C-U-E, IQuebarbecue.com is the IQue website. Stand by for more Jack Talk. It's Rempy and you right here on the Barbecue Central Show.
Barbecue fans travel from all over the country and the world to learn the secrets of real pit barbecue from Grand Champion Pitmaster Conrad Haskins. Now take your skills to the next level with a Barbecue Institute Pitmaster class. You'll learn how to make sauces, rubs, and smoke mouth-watering barbecue every time you cook. Your new skills will impress friends and family. Internet forums, blogs, and Facebook are full of success stories from our graduates. Upcoming classes locations include Rock City Rib Fest, Rochester, New York, Lexington, Massachusetts, Lang Factory Test Kitchen in Georgia, Fort Worth, Texas, Fredericksburg, Texas, Houston, Texas, Monroe, Washington, and Kennewick, Washington. For more information, class dates, and contests we'll be competing in, visit www.bbqclass.com. That's bbqclass.com.
Centralites, you having marriage troubles? Your kid's unruly and don't listen? Then you need the Ribbolator, because great barbecue will always bring the family together, and the Ribbolator always cooks great award-winning barbecue. You can try it free for 30 days, and if your family life doesn't improve, just send it back. Ribbolator even pays return shipping. But you need to take that first step. Visit Ribbolator.com to get started or call 206-999-0962. Don't you deserve a happy barbecue family?
The future of barbecue is already here at thebarbecueguru.com. From the amazing guru that monitors and controls the temperatures of any charcoal, wood, or electric pit to the Caldera Tallboy knockdown smoker. Yes, it breaks down and stores flat, yet it's still a robust, sturdy, portable cooker and smokehouse. It also serves as an efficient temperature-controlled convection oven using wood or charcoal. The Tallboy is designed to fit all catering pans and can be used as a warming oven. You can cook in any style you choose. Make ribs, chicken, jerky, vegetables, smoked cheese, whatever you want. Take it to KCBS competitions and unload it from the trunk of your car. TheBarbecueGuru.com is where you'll find the Caldera 3-Bay Caterer. It's stainless steel and uses charcoal or sterno for chafing purposes. And it doubles as a 3-bay sink or wash station with hot water and knocks down in seconds with no tools required for transportation and storage. The future of barbecue is here at thebarbecueguru.com. That's www.thebbqguru.com or call 1-800-288-GURU.
Forget going from site to site to get all of your barbecue and grilling supplies and make your first and final stop at fredsmusicandbarbecue.com. In the market for a new barbecue pit, we have all the big name brands like Big Green Egg and more. As a matter of fact, Fred's is staffed by eggheads and carries all the parts and egg accessories for the Big Green Egg. More of a pellet head, you say? Fred's is the pellet grill superstore with grills in stock from Traeger, Green Mountain, and Country Smokers from Louisiana Grills. Fred's also carries smokers from Cook Shack, Bradley, and Weber, as well as a full line of charcoal grills. And once you're outfitted with your new smoker or grill, you'll find absolutely everything you need to make your barbecue or grilling experience a success. Fred is also the creator and distributor of Tasty Licks barbecue products, including their great line of rubs, spices, and sauces. You gotta try them. And you can also get your hands on a full lineup of marinades, accessories, lump charcoal, wood chips, pellets, chunks, and even the great grilling tools from Stephen Reichlin of Barbecue U fame. Check out Fred on the web at fredsmusicandbarbecue.com or check out their fully stocked showroom in beautiful Shillington, PA.
Introducing Cosmos Q. Cosmos Q injections and marinades use only the finest ingredients, and they mix easily, never clotting or caking. From our beef injection to our pork injection, you're guaranteed to wow your friends, family, and judges. And don't forget to check out our Cosmos Chicken Soak for that moist and tender chicken you're gonna love.
And don't forget about Cosmo's new pork soak and rubs.
You can find us at cosmosq.com and select retailers across the nation. For quality injections, marinades, and rubs, it's Cosmos Q. Get in the smoke. Call 877-448-0433 to get on the air. Now, here's your host, Greg Rempe.
39 Pass. This portion of the show brought to you by D-Dog's Barbecue Rub, offering free shipping right now. DDOGSBBQ.com is the place to go. Also offering two new flavors, a Texas-style rib glaze and a something else, too, that I can't remember. Damn it. But it's free shipping, so hook up with a lot. DDogsBBQ.com, as we all know by now. D-Dog's Barbecue Rub is better than ketchup. All right, we're going to go return back to the Jack Daniels talk. We're being joined by Rod Gray of Pellet Envy, current KCBS Team of the Year, and Chris Hart from IQue. He's the reigning champion of the Jack Daniels, looking to repeat. Gentlemen, thanks for hanging with me through the break here. Chris, for the teams that are making the trip down for the first time, and of course you're not looking to give away any trade secrets here, but what advice might you have for them so they don't perhaps get trapped in any pitfalls? I mean, I have to imagine that it's real easy for a less experienced team to get lost in all that's happening around them, and all of a sudden they might be behind on their game plan.
Yeah, I would probably recommend that they try to follow Rod's advice there, which was just do your thing. Cook the way you know how. Try not to get caught up in the excitement too much. Go easy on enjoying the local product. And try, nothing new. I've gone down there and killed myself a bunch of times by trying to do it kind of extra special, trying to, do something above and beyond what I normally do. I'm at the Jack. I'm going to try to do it better than I normally do. And I've screwed myself up in the past and sabotaged myself. And I would just try to, stay cool and cook like you do at any other contest, and that's probably going to work out the best for you.
Rod, first timers going down, is there a propensity to be starstruck by some of the other great teams out there and do a lot of sightseeing versus getting your stuff ready?
Well, there's something like that. In fact, I wrote an article for my blog just kind of for fun, and the title of it, So It's Your First Time to Go to the Jack. And the Bullsheet picked it up and put it on the front page. So a lot of that information is there. But yeah, I think there is. They do a I Know Jack About Grilling event, and early on in our career down there, we took that on, and it just totally blows your Friday afternoon. It's really cool, and I hope some people participate in it. But if you're a first timer and you do some prep work on Friday afternoon, and you get drawn for that I Know Jack About Grilling, it eats up your whole afternoon, and before you know it, the parade is starting. So you run over to the parade and you jump in that, and it takes you up to a bus where you jump on a bus and you go up to the hill, and before you know it, it's 8 or 9 p.m. on Friday, and you haven't prepped anything, and you haven't been thinking about it because it's such a great time at the Jack. I will tell you the Jack Daniels is probably more festive than any barbecue contest we go to. I mean, it also is pretty quiet late on Friday night because we all have our game faces on, and everybody wants to win the Jack. But short of that, there's so much to do in such a small place and so many people to see and so much fun. And the international teams are always in great spirits that you can really get caught up in it if you don't plan ahead and kind of have some discipline and stick to what you need to get done.
My team got selected for the I Know Jack About Grilling event a couple of years ago, and we cooked it, and we had a lot of fun. But I found myself at my camp that night around 10:30 at night prepping my pork butts. And I usually would prep pork butts at like 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And it completely screwed me up. It was fun, and I probably would do it again, but you got to be careful.
You both mentioned
being modest, Chris. Didn't you win it?
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, you won it. Yeah.
Now, since you both made mention, do any of you plan on taking part in any of these ancillary events, or would you rather not? And we'll start with Rod there.
Yeah, well, we'll probably march in the parade, and we'll probably go up on the hill for a little bit because the new pavilion has such a spectacular view down over the contest area at the Hala. That it's just something that you need to do it. It's just so great, and everybody's in such a great mood. And yeah, we'll do some of those things. We'll probably skip the butt bowling, and we didn't throw our name in the hat for the I Know Jack About Grilling this year, and so it's you have to kind of pick and choose. We'll probably catch a tour of the distillery. Everyone should take a tour of the distillery. They should take it with Porky, a.k.a. David Roper, because he's a fabulous tour guide. They can't get him, they should just get him. and everybody needs to make their trip up to the hardware store where we will walk out with an armload of Jack Daniel's merchandise like we always do. But yeah, yes, the answer is yes, Greg. We'll do some of those things.
Chris, any plans on doing some of those events like Rod is?
We're signed up for everything. I know Jack about grilling. We got a few more people on the team this year coming down, and we'll, someone else other than me would go cook that thing if we ever got selected for it. And yeah, we're in for everything. We'll do the parade. We'll be up on the hill having a cocktail and enjoying the view, and we're going to take it all in.
Now, for the barbecue event itself, we'll start with Chris. How concerned at all are you with the fact that this has a judging tent filled more with magazine writers and celebrities and food bloggers and other Jack Daniel's invited guests than there are perhaps certified judges that you would normally turn into during a regular competition?
I'm a little bit more concerned about the fact that there's actually a mix of judges. Is that if they were all those kind of judges, I think I'd be better with it. If they were all kind of newbie judges, that would be better than having, say, I don't know, Paul Kirk and a newbie judge on the same table. And then I think both of those kind of people are looking for two completely different things. And there's really a mix of really like old-time judges who are looking for traditional barbecue, and maybe brand new judges who think barbecue's all maybe about the sauce, for instance. And it's that kind of diversity on a table. You get Paul Kirk and the weather forecaster from Chattanooga, Tennessee on the same table. And that's what's kind of tough to figure out what you're going to do. However, I think they've done a little bit better training them. What I'm hearing is that last year was 100% certified. Yeah, some of them were certified on Friday, I'm sure, but I think what's challenging is a wide diversity of judges judging the contest.
Rod, are you worried at all that there's more non-experienced certified judges or non-experienced competition barbecue eaters back there judging the food than you would normally find on any given weekend?
No, not anymore. We go down there to have a good time. We'll cook the best food we can cook. We'll turn it in, and once it leaves our hands, there's nothing we can do about it. Somebody has to win the event. It doesn't do any good to criticize what they do down there. I know why they do it, and I understand it and accept it. And we're just going to go cook the best food we can cook. In my heart, I believe that good food is good food, and it will prevail. And we'll just do our best, as we all will, as Chris will, as everybody down there will, and somebody wins it, and the rest of us don't. And that's just the way it goes.
I wonder, Rod, and I'll go back to you for this quick follow-up. We talked a number of times over the years, and while you're always maybe a little self-doubting at each individual competition, or you don't expect to win, it seems like for this event, maybe because it's not a sanctioned event for KCBS, so it's not going to be counting towards any points for a team of the year type race. But are you just go down more for the good time and that's it, and you're not really focused on winning? If it's part of the deal, that's fine. Or is there the competitor in you that at least minimally wants to go in and kick everybody's butt?
No. Okay, I need to answer in two parts. And so it doesn't get muddled, let's make it clear. I want to win the Jack Daniels. I absolutely want to win the Jack Daniels. No doubt in my mind. And I will do my level best to cook the best food I've cooked all year down there. So don't take that the wrong way, Greg. I want to win the Jack Daniels. However, we just haven't had a lot of success down there in the last few years. And I don't know if I attribute it to the tables or the way I cook or what, but no. I do believe, though, also, I guess I'm going to say it's tempered, because I also believe that, a lot of people, and I think Chris said this early on in this conversation, is a gauge of a successful year as some of the top-level barbecue cooks is making it to the Jack Daniels, even though there's luck involved, not just success. And obviously I do the same thing. I gauge a successful year on making it to the Jack. So there's a level of satisfaction in being there, but once you've been there a few times, you're really focused and fixated on winning it, and that's where we are.
Similar question back to you, Chris. You've been so many years in a row prior to last year winning it. Was there a point where the first couple years you wanted to go down and win, and then is there a part or a section in time where you're like, well, maybe it's just not going to happen, but we're still going to go down because we love to be there, but the expectation of winning might start to, as Rod said, temper a little bit or become more of a back burner thing for you guys?
Yeah, the first year we went down there, I think in 2002, we actually came close to being in the mix for winning the damn thing. We went like 4th in ribs, 5th in chicken, 10th in pork, and then bomb brisket, of course. But and we're like, hey, this is easy. We came in 10th overall at the Jack. We can, we're going to come back next year and win this damn thing. And then we've had success in individual categories. Although leading up to last year when we won it, I was in a rut. I went 3 years in a row without a barbecue call at the Jack. And, my wife thought I was crazy to continue to go down there and get beat up like that because she knew how much I put into it and how important it was to me. But I was on a long rut there and just stuck with it, and, it paid off this past year. I'll keep going at it. It's a lot of fun going down there and going up against some of these teams.
Chris Hart from IQue, reigning Jack Daniel's champion, joining us here on the show. Also, Rod Gray of Pellet Envy. An item that really seems to concern a lot of teams going down for this event is the fact that you do had, as Rod said earlier, you have to turn in white meat and dark meat. So obviously, a lot of you guys on the circuit not averse at all or not unfamiliar with turning in the dark meat because usually it's thighs and turn-in boxes. But the white meat seems to really concern some folks out there. So we'll start with Rod. Rod, you breast guy, wing guy, and what's your white meat of choice for turn-in?
Well, okay, so we're talking about chicken, right?
Right.
I'll be honest with you. We've tried the drumettes, we've tried the middle section of the wings. We've obviously turned in breast meat, whether it be sliced into medallions. I mean, we've done it all. I don't know if we've gotten a chicken call down there since 2002, which is before you had to turn in white meat. But yeah, I don't know that it's. You know what? I'm just going to rely on this. Good food is good food. Turn in what you cook the best. I'm not sure what we're going to turn in this year because I haven't thought that much about it yet.
Chris, are you breast guy, wing guy? What are you going to be looking to turn in for the white meat portion?
I went over that in great detail in my barbecue class this past weekend. I'm not sure I can give that up right now, but
I know we don't have round tables for you guys to shirk the questions for crying out loud. Now give it up.
Okay, so one thing, the main thing I do is I try to lay out the box in such a way that I compel the judges to select the dark meat.
Okay.
I'm serious.
So you only
That's
put.
what I do. So essentially the dark meat's on top and the white meat's on the bottom, and I'm hoping the judges are selecting the dark meat.
I see.
Can I translate? He actually marks his box. He takes the middle section of the wing and he makes an arrow toward all the thighs over on one side of it.
Right. Pick this. That's right. Now, keeping the white meat moist is always a challenge because there's obviously going to be some sitting time there. And we'll start with Chris. Do you brine? Do you inject your chicken in order to perhaps give it a longer moisture window?
I inject the chicken. I don't really like brining it. I give it a little bit of a pump before and potentially before I cook it and potentially after I cook it. And I'm using a piece of the white meat that's a little bit more forgiving, I think, the wing. And I think it stays pretty juicy. Is
the injection fairly simple as far as ingredients, or do you get pretty intricate with it?
Simple as it gets. A little bit of chicken broth.
What about you, Rod? Do you brine or inject at all?
I'll tell you, after I've done it, I don't have a plan. I mean, we cook white meat at a contest one time a year. Nothing seems to work for us down there in terms of chicken. So I'll probably practice this weekend, but I don't even know the answer to that question today.
He's not giving it up.
Do you think?
No. If I had something, I mean, I'll lie about it if you guys want me to. But the truth of the matter is, I'm totally unsure as to what I'm going to do down there this year.
And as far as what you would do normally, I mean, you're not an injection or a brine guy at a KCBS event.
Oh, yeah, I am. Absolutely. I don't brine anymore, but I would brine a chicken breast if I were going to cook it, I think, for the moisture and for some flavor, and that may be what I do. Of course, I just have this thing about with the way I cook. If I brine a chicken breast skin on and try to turn it in skin on, I'm afraid that my skin won't be bite through on it. I think it'll be rubbery. So honestly, between now and tomorrow evening, I'll probably figure out what I want to try this weekend at a contest and try it. And then I may practice Monday or Tuesday. I'm not really sure, depending on what my schedule is. But I'm not trying to shirk the question. I really don't have the answer tonight. Didn't know I'd have to tell you that, or I'd have worked harder on it.
Chris Hart and Rod Gray are my guests. From some past accounts, the award ceremony is perhaps ridiculously long. Any suggestions on how they can turn it into a more tolerable length, or are you pretty much at the mercy of whatever they want to do? And we'll go to Chris for that.
I think they've improved it a great deal over the last couple of years. I think that maybe 3 or 4 years ago, there was a great deal of awards and time spent on stuff that had nothing to do with the barbecue contest. And I understand that the volunteers and all the various people that are involved should, they're very important. But you got a bunch of cooks that have all traveled from all over the country and all over the world and spent a lot of time and effort, and really the highlight needs to be on them. And I think that the event has successfully focused more on that. It's a little bit long. I think they've done a good job recently increasing the prize money. I believe that the prize money that they've given out at the awards has gone from $2,500 to $5,000 for the grand champion, and I think I've heard that they might try to get it up to $7,000 for old number 7. So I think the awards and the prizes has improved over the last few years quite a bit.
Rod, thoughts on the ceremonies for awards and all that stuff?
It's the Jack, and we're all trying to soak in every last moment of it. And honestly, I think Chris hit it on the head. I think in years, in way back, not 02, 04, maybe 06, the awards seemed kind of long. But honestly, these days, I rarely hear anyone complain about the length of them, and I think it's more because of where we are. And I think we're more tolerant to a longer award ceremony at the Jack. For a lot of people, it's their end of the season. And as such, I think they just trying to stay in the moment as long as they can. But I was trying to think about that while Chris answered, and honestly, I just don't hear a lot of people complain about the length of the Jack Awards anymore like I used to.
All right, we're going to start to wind it up here, so we'll start with Rod. Rod, what % chance do you think that Chris and Team IQue has a chance repeating this year?
Well, the twofold. On the first hand, no one's ever repeated.
Right.
But on the other hand, Chris and his crew are fabulous cooks, and I think if anybody could repeat, they could. So if someone were to say, pick one team you think they could win the Jack a second time, I'd have to say Chris has got pretty good odds of doing that.
Can you put a percentage to that, which is what the question was?
100.
100%. All right. Yeah, 100% chance.
Thanks, Rod.
All right, Chris, we'll turn it around to you. Rod has been down to the Jack. I think he said this is maybe your 7th or 8th time. What % chance do you think that Rod and Team Pellet Envy has of winning this year?
I think it's strong. I think the fact that Rod has had a few tough years in a row, eventually he's very, very, very consistent, and eventually that's going to work out. It's just not going to continue to go on and having a tough streak at the Jack. And I don't know what I put the percentage as. That's what the question was. What percentage does Rod have of winning the Jack Daniels?
That's right. What %?
I would give him a 20% chance of winning Jack Daniels.
Wow, 20. You get Rod gives you 100, and you give him 20%. Thanks for nothing. All right, now,
in the mail, Chris.
Geez.
In the mail, buddy.
To avoid the mutual ass-kissing society that I'm sure would inevitably ensue here, aside from yourselves and, of course, each other's teams, is there somebody or some team that you would actually get down on this year to win it all? Who would you like to pick and that you would bet money on? We'll start with Rod.
Wow, that is a crazy tough question, and I want to give you some wonderful political answer, or even actually pick somebody. But honestly, I was trying to roll through some of the teams I know they're going to be there. There's going to be a lot of great talent there. I would say that if it can't be Chris or I, my money's on Cool Smoke this year.
What about you, Chris?
There's a lot of good teams this year. If you look at the list, there's a good chunk of first-time teams for sure. I would give it to one of the. If I had a bet, I would say it's going to be one of the Iowa teams, either Big TZs, Swine Assassins, or Tippy Canoe. So I would bet on one of those Iowa teams to win it.
All right, now we'll get into the parting shots segment, and we'll start with Chris Hart from IQue. Again, the website, by the way, IQueBarbecue.com. Anything you want to promote or announce while you're on the show here tonight, right now?
No. I have one little thing that someone told me, and I thought maybe it'd be interesting to share on a Jack Daniel's show, which is I hear that for the 25th anniversary of the Jack, they're inviting all the past grand champions back for a big event to do some kind of a cook-off at that event. I think it's going to be like a People's Choice event at the 25th anniversary in a couple of years. So I thought that was pretty interesting. I heard something about that the other day.
So it looks like you're going to get to go back to the Jack regardless at some point.
Yeah, the 25th anniversary, they're inviting all the past grand champions back.
Anything else you would like to get out there while you have the floor?
I'm not promoting nothing to promote here. I'm just this is my last event of the year, and looking forward to it.
That's Chris Hart, by the way, and Rod Gray. Anything you would like to promote or announce right now?
Of course,
All
always.
Right. Go ahead.
Always. We're working on our 2011 class schedule, so check the website often. I should have it up in the next couple of weeks. I want to thank Grease Lightning for what they do for us. It allows us to compete and be on things like this radio show, as well as Easy Grill, who I may have mentioned at the beginning of this show. And Greg, I want to thank you. It's always a blast to come on your show. I think you do a great job. I think you do a great service for barbecue. And since we're in the Mutual Ass-Kicking Society, I thought I'd throw that in there at the end.
Well, obviously Rod has done the show more than Chris, and he knows the proper ass-kissing techniques of the host. Chris Hart of IQue is looking to repeat as winner of the Jack Daniels coming up here next week, and Rod Gray of Pellet Envy is looking to get this Jack notch on his belt, and I'm sure it goes unsaid, guys, that if either of you win, I get first interview the following week, right?
You got it.
Rod?
What does it pay? What does it pay to be the?
It pays I used to get the same flat fee for coming on as you do every time.
Oh, well, then I'm in.
$0.00 guaranteed. All right, guys. Thanks for coming on, and good smoke and luck to you at the Jack Daniels. Good smoke and luck. All right, we've somehow muddled through that ridiculous first hour, and I wish I had a better excuse of how that first 11 minutes went, but I really don't. Hopefully I can get that tightened up after hours. We're going to step away real quick for a set of commercials, and we're going to come back with the second hour, unadulterated and, more importantly, uninterrupted. 877-448-0433 is the number to call. Greg at thebbqcentralshow.com is the email address. We're going to be joined by Chad Thompson from nationalbbqrankings.com, breaking down the Jack Field handicapping. And the second half of the show will be joined by Phil Costanzo from Wired BBQ, and we'll talk to you a little bit more about that. Thanks to Rod Gray from Pellet Envy, pelletenvy.com, for talking Jack Daniels with us here for the first hour. Also, reigning champ of that event, the Jack Daniels Barbecue Cook-Off, or the World Championship Barbecue Cook-Off, Chris Hart from IQue. That's IQue, I, the letter, and then Q, Q-U-E, barbecue, B-A-R-B-E-C-U-E, IQueBarbecue.com is their website. Stick around for hour number 2. We'll be right back. Hang on.